Ladies and gentlemen, please throw your hands in the air for the greatest podcast on earth when it comes to music, sports, and culture. Disabled is Abled with your host, Eli and Fredy. So put your hands together if you are ready to get the show started. Let's go. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Disabled is Abled. We, the Disabled Show. Superpower, super strength, fortitude, gratitude, everything you can think of because we have the ability to do so. I'm Dad, and this is Eli.
Yeah, I'm your host.
Shout outs to Fredy, who's still on vacation.
He'll be back Saturday.
He'll be back Saturday. So for next week's show, we'll have the original crew back in the building. We're the three best friends
that anybody can have. We're the three best friends that anybody can have.
So we will be back in the building. So how are you?
I'm good, man.
You good?
Playoffs is getting exciting. We're in the second round now.
We're in the second round. First, before we get started, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the Lakers. Yeah, we took an L.
Yeah.
It was sad. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's strange for me watching the playoffs without the Lakers.
Yeah. It reminds me back in 2018 when LeBron didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he had that long post saying he was going to promise LA a championship.
Yes.
Kind of has that feel to it. Look, injuries are part of the game. I get that. But I don't like AD. I don't like that. I can't. I tried to make it work. I'm like, okay, because I'm always like, all right, injuries are part of the game. But, dude, you get hurt every game. He hasn't had a full, in his entire career, he hasn't had a full 82 seasons.
That is true.
And let's be clear. Once again, AD was never supposed to be the second option. He was supposed to be the third option. That second option was either supposed to be Paul George or Kawhi Leonard.
That is true.
They both ended up going to Clippers. We'll talk about the Clippers later because they pulled off a historic feat that I didn't think they were capable of doing.
Yep. But first, breaking news just in over the wire. Nikola Jokic has won the MVP. I figured it would be either him or Embiid.
One of them was going to break the record for centers getting the MVP because the last one to do it was Shaq.
Got you.
And
So it's been a very long time. Embiid did take the Sixers to their first Atlantic Division first seed in 20 years since, a long time.
Right. I don't really, to be honest with you, I'm actually surprised Embiid didn't get it.
Yes.
But don't get me wrong. Joker is a monster.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's a beast. But they both put an equally amount of numbers. My personal vote was Steph Curry because as a player, my most valuable player.
But he didn't make the playoffs.
And
Jokic, when Murray went down, they didn't suffer.
True. When Embiid went down, Philly did suffer. Yeah,
but that's Embiid. But we're talking about a supporting cast member,
Yeah, but I was saying how, I guess in that time frame, because remember, Embiid did miss like 20 games.
He did.
So that might have hurt his.
And I think that's what hurt his chances because Jokic has been there all year long.
Right.
And he was delivering. So we sent our congratulations out to Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. And another breaking news. Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year.
A lot of people thought
Monty
Williams, who did win amongst his peers. So all the other coaches amongst his peers, Monty won it, but the Associated Press, or the ones who do the voting,
right? Because at first I thought Monty had already won it. Because when I saw the peers,
right,
I'm thinking, oh, Monty won Coach of the Year, okay,
right. But that went to Thibodeau, and Thibodeau, I think did more with less.
Yeah,
and people had the Knicks winning 21 games,
right,
and they doubled that, won 42 games,
right.
So with that being said, I Thibodeau did a great job. Monty Williams, you had Devin Booker, you had Chris Paul,
and Chris Paul was the bulk of your wins.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think without Chris Paul they get to number 2 seed. I don't think they even get to the playoffs.
No, they may just eke in or be in the play in.
Right.
So that's how important Chris Paul is.
Right.
And
credit to Monty, but that mainly has to go to Chris Paul.
Yes. So we give Tom Thibodeau, a New York City coach.
Yeah, plays for the Knicks.
Kudos, playing for the Knicks. Oh, that dude right there. We'll talk about that in a few. All right, the Bucks are down 0-2, man.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised.
It's looking like a failure part 3. It's like a trilogy for them.
A failure trilogy, yeah.
A failure trilogy because when I rewind back 2 years ago, they went up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
Me personally, I thought they were gonna make it to the finals at that point.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, okay, you win one road game, come back into Milwaukee
and close it out,
right? And then so Game 5 comes in, Kawhi handles his business,
and
they have 4 to 5 bigs to put a wall around Giannis.
Yes.
All right, they lose that series. Toronto ends up winning the championship, and I'm thinking, okay, Giannis, improve on your offense a little bit because you still need to learn how to shoot from either mid-range. All you have to really do is just work 2 out of 3.
Right.
Either mid-range threes and you struggle with your free throws, or mid-range free throws and you struggle with your threes.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3
would change the dynamics of how we guard him.
Right.
And
they didn't make no improvements that offseason. They just was like running back and acted like they had no issues. So now they're on pace to win 70 games. They won about 56. But at the time they was on pace because they had just he wins MVP for the second year.
Yeah, second year in a row.
And defensive player. He was the first player to do that
since
Michael Jordan, I believe.
Michael Jordan or Kareem or somebody. Yeah.
Right. The bubble comes in. And the bubble kind of messes teams up. It was messing up the big teams. And I said Miami was going to be a problem. Miami beat them in 5.
Yes.
Still made no huge adjustments. You just thought you can run it back. And now we're in the same kind of predicament.
This year they made some improvements.
Right. They
with
made
Drew Holiday.
Which pushed Chris Middleton to the 3.
And a late season acquisition of PJ Tucker.
Right. Which helps with your defense and your offense still.
But it doesn't help with Giannis's jump shot.
Does not help with Giannis's jump shot. And you have... Well, speak on your Giannis theory.
Well, I'm going to say he's not a 1. He's actually a bona fide 2. Because if he can't get his own shot, I'm looking at the history of the 1s in the league, like the primary players, the minimum they can do is get their own shot.
Right.
Even if they're double teamed
and create for their
for their teammates. Giannis can't shoot the 3, can't shoot the mid-range game, and he's afraid to penetrate late in games because he can't hit free throws. Right. So that means they can just build the wall and eliminate his ability to be an offensive threat. Now, defensively, he's always going to get rebounds and stuff like that. He needs somebody on that team who can get their own shot, draw double teams, then kick it to him on the wing where he can penetrate, dunk, or he needs to play with his back to the basket.
Right.
As big as he is, he needs to be on some, give me the ball, I'm going to make 1 or 2 moves, and even then, you still got to have that little fadeaway.
Right, you have to.
When you go to the baseline.
Because I can go just straight up.
Right.
And alter your shot.
Right, so if you don't have that little fadeaway, and they keep making him shoot these shots, shooting is about confidence and work. He can work in the gym all if he wants, but if he don't have confidence, he ain't going to make those shots. I really thought this was going to be a huge series, Eli, that went 7 games. I really did.
Especially because speedy recovery for James Harden. We hope to see him back in the series.
Yes, James Harden re-aggravated his groin. It's groin stiffness, they're calling it. But, they're always...
Hamstring?
I mean, hamstring stiffness. Yeah. They're always vague about how serious the injury is.
Right.
But it looks like Brooklyn won't even need him for this series.
And here's the thing. Brooklyn has 2 bona fide superstars. And an all-star...
Who can get their shot.
Who can get their shot whenever they want. And their one did... Kyrie is more importantly locked in. Because I know Kevin Durant's always going to be locked in.
Kyrie looks very locked in. And here's the unique thing about those 3 players. They all have potential to be 50, 40, 90.
Right.
50 from the field, 40 from 3, and they're all excellent free throw shooters. So that means late in the game, either one of them that you foul, they're going to go to the line and make you pay. So I really don't see no team beating Brooklyn now as I'm getting really good looks at them.
James Harden.
even without James Harden.
Yeah.
I think they have enough.
And they have a bona fide X factor in the series, which ironically is Blake Griffin.
Yes.
He's hustling like he's back in LA.
Yeah, he's hustling like he's got something to prove, and he wants to get himself a championship.
And they have so many dynamic penetrator, not only shooters, but just penetrate to the basket.
The kid Brown can play. Harris is a sniper.
Yeah, he leads the league in 3-point shooting.
He's a sniper. Claxton, the big man. They getting Jeff Green back,
right?
Probably by the next game,
by Thursday.
So they're stacked, man. That team is stacked.
And once again, and I can't believe I'm really saying this, but like Giannis is not a superstar.
No, he's not.
He's not. And it's weird because
yeah.
Sorry, it's just weird because of the accolades he has.
Yes.
He's a 2-time MVP.
Yes.
And 2-time defending.
Yes. Defensive player. Yeah.
And for him, you don't give those accolades to non-superstars.
Right. I think they tried to make him a superstar, but if my superstar can't get me a bucket, like number 30's got to work on that. He's a star right now, Randall, but he's not a superstar yet.
Right.
The Knicks are going to need a superstar to pair with him so that he can get his shot off. If my superstar with 2 minutes left in the game and we're drawing up plays and I got to go somewhere else.
And you can't go to two, and I like these two players, don't get me wrong. But I can't rely on Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday.
No, I can't.
Chris doesn't give me a Klay Thompson vibe.
Right.
Where Klay can give me that bucket. I can draw up a play for Klay.
Right.
And he's going to give me that shot.
Right. And Drew Holiday, he's good, but he's not a superstar point guard.
Right.
They keep saying the big three in Milwaukee. There's a big one in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Really.
It's
a big
not...
1.5.
Right.
You know, so they're outmatched, and I'm expecting Brooklyn to close these guys out in 5. However, they got to go on the road and win one game.
Oh, right. Brooklyn. Yes. And then where does look, listen, this is why I was saying last year, Giannis, you need to leave. Do not sign that in Supermax.
Mm-hmm.
I get it because your theory ended up being right. He's not from America. He's from Greece. He doesn't understand.
He probably settled his family
already
in Milwaukee, and he's happy there.
Right.
You know, as opposed to uplifting his whole family and
But
moving.
the problem was your game. You didn't. It took you 3 years. Look, you went to the Eastern Conference semis, and now you're about to lose again in the semis.
Yeah.
You didn't make no improvements. And if you're not going to make any improvements, at least go to a team that has pretty much everything for you, whether that would have been Miami or Golden State.
Because
both teams were better defensively.
Yes, of course.
Than Milwaukee was already constructed.
And you're not going to get a superstar to come to Milwaukee.
Right.
That's the problem. If he was already in a big city, it's easier to get a star to come with you. Nobody's going to Milwaukee. That was the problem LeBron James had
when he was in
his
Cleveland.
First day in Cleveland. Nobody wanted to go there. The only reason LeBron wound up winning the title in Cleveland is because they drafted Kyrie Irving.
Right. And then they traded for Kevin Love. So, you would have... And, like I said, Miami and Golden State would have never had those problems. Steve Kerr doesn't play that.
Right.
We have an offense. We're offensive juggernaut.
Keep the ball moving.
All we need you to do is be defensive, and then when you have a mismatch, then we'll give you the ball.
Absolutely. Keep the ball moving.
Pat Riley already had that squad, and he knows how to work that too.
Absolutely.
So I don't know where they go from here. The coach needs to get fired.
Yes, I think so too. I think it's just time for a new voice in the locker room. A lot of times it has nothing to do with the X's and O's of a coach. It's time for a new voice. As we mentioned, we forgot to mention Brad Stevens. I don't know. We might have mentioned that last week. He is moving upstairs.
Yeah.
And now they're in search Boston Celtics.
Thought he should have got fired.
Yes, I thought he should have got fired.
Not a promotion.
He's getting a promotion, which is some weird dynamics. With that being said, Atlanta is up 1-0 on Philadelphia, and
they're currently playing now.
They're currently playing game number 2, and it's 33-20 at Philadelphia.
Okay.
So Philly has, early on in the first quarter, they have asserted themselves because they know they can't go down
2-0.
And I do believe they will beat Atlanta in 7 games.
I do too.
I just think they're overall with Embiid And now Embiid might be pissed off and motivated because he didn't win the MVP.
MVP, yeah, and he knows.
I've seen players do that. They go, "Oh, y'all don't think I'm the MVP," and then they just go off.
Right. But here's the thing: Atlanta did their job, so now all they had to do is defend home court.
Yes, and Atlanta's playing very loose because no one expected them to be here.
Right.
I like teams like that who just playing because all they could do is play hard.
And here's the thing:
that's how Miami played last year in the bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
They played hard and because they had great offense.
Oh yeah, but they played hard, and Tyler and Robinson.
Yeah, just hit a lot of big
and
shots.
Nunn
Yeah.
and these guys. They played loose, and it led to some good things.
They don't have an answer for Trae Young.
No, not yet. But I think they're gonna eventually have to put Simmons on him. He's taller.
But Doc did say he said that he didn't want to put Ben Simmons on him all game because Trae will get him into foul trouble.
Yes, and it'll wear him out. So he has to pick and choose. In the fourth quarter,
right?
They need to get ahead and put him on it and say, "Listen, I need to shut him down."
But okay, so who do you take in that series?
I got Philly in 7. I think it's going to be a long series. I think Atlanta is going to put themselves on the map.
Yeah.
And people are going to respect them going forward.
Right.
And I think Philadelphia and Brooklyn will fight it out for the Eastern Conference title.
You're right. Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Philadelphia in 7-2 against the Hawks. I think Embiid's gonna get his numbers. He just needs a little bit of help from his surrounding cast.
Yeah, and I believe Seth Curry will shoot better. Danny Green will shoot better.
Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris needs to be a star, not a superstar, but
he needs to be a star at minimum, right? The Nuggets lose game 1 against the Suns.
They had that game. Tell me
about it. I didn't see that game.
That game was going back and forth for the first half, and then the third quarter. Denver played it right into their hands. Joker was doing his thing. He was getting this round of help from Austin Rivers and Aaron Gordon and Porter.
Yes.
And then in halfway into the third quarter, they went on a 2-minute and 30 seconds
drought.
Drought. And Chris Paul helped them go on a 15-0 run.
I heard that's when he took control. And that's what Chris Paul does.
And then Devin Booker got what he wanted. And it was never.
I still say that's going to be a long series.
It is.
And I almost forgot that Phoenix had home court advantage. For some reason, I thought they was playing in the Mile High City.
Right.
They're in Phoenix right now, and they've done nothing but hold.
And I'm really impressed with Devin Booker. I did not think he was playoff ready yet.
I thought he was prime, man. It's something about that kid he just looks ready.
Yeah, but I'm thinking. These are brighter lights. These are not the regular season. This is the first time you're in a winning situation.
But side note, I think if Jamal Murray was there, Denver would easily win this series. Not easily, but they would have the firepower needed. I'm still gonna pick Denver to win this series in 6.
6. I'm gonna take Denver 2, but I'm gonna take them in 7.
Okay, so you think Jokic in a game 7? In Phoenix.
Yeah. Because they had that. They don't go on a 2-0 a drought for those 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They win that ball game.
Got you.
And the pressure's on Phoenix.
Right.
So, and once again, even I don't know, matchup for matchup, I don't know how they can really stop Denver.
Got you.
Right? Because
if Michael Porter Jr. comes to play.
Because that's all he had. And I just need him to outbalance Devin Booker.
But the Phoenix Suns had 4 players score 20 points or more.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that again.
Yeah, that's
a rare thing. That means
happen.
everybody. That means they was getting everything they wanted.
Right. I need Aaron Gordon to lock down somebody. I know he's not a great defensive player. But I need him to put up buckets.
Yeah, he's going to have to be the third scorer.
And then it's really going to be between the point guards. Are going to be between Chris Paul and Joker. Take your chances with that.
Gotcha.
See what happens. Also. So both have Denver in that.
We both have Denver.
Okay.
The Clippers pull off the monumental comeback when we had them buried. I was throwing dirt on them, getting ready to give their eulogy.
It was funny because they go down 2-0. Y'all go up 2-1.
Right.
It was looking like, okay, the Lakers about to do it again.
and the Clippers about to fail again.
Right.
And how quick the tides changed, where now the Clippers, with the coaching of Tyronn Lue. Listen, Tyronn Lue.
He made 2 big adjustments.
Yes.
Game 3, he took out Beverly.
He benched him for the rest of the series.
And put in Reggie Jackson.
Yes. And then he brought that kid Man off the bench.
Man off the bench for game 7.
Right.
And he gave them 24 young points.
Yes.
And remember, let's be real. Game 5, he missed a wide open layup.
I remember.
Man.
Yep.
And then Skip said, who had a good point, he was too big for that moment.
Yes. Yes.
Because if he easily just handles that moment,
they win that game.
And
the series is probably over.
In 6.
Yes. Yes. So with that being said, Kawhi Leonard, he played like he was focused.
2 perfect games, game 6 and game 7.
Yes, he played focused. He got the job done. Luka's going to need some help.
Yeah, and also, Porzingis, what are you talking about in terms of you're frustrated? You don't do anything.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to put all the blame on Porzingis because I remember him playing in New York. He was more of a bona fide threat. But when somebody has the ball 90% of the time, dribble, and this is Luka, you become a team that just sits around. Now, don't get me wrong. Luka is a dynamic player, but Luka has to move that ball because all the dribble.
There was times in that series where he didn't move the ball.
He didn't move the ball.
He
became easy to defend because we know he's going to get his numbers and everybody else is standing. It reminded me of the way LeBron James played for years. He had 4 shooters around him. Clear it out. Let LeBron dribble.
Look before the championship was on.
No. Even championship years, it's a lot of standing around. That's why the Golden State Warriors beat them a couple of times because there wasn't a lot of movement. Right. LeBron is not a movement. Don't get me wrong. When you put the ball in his hands, he's going to make great decisions. But for a defender, really good defending teams, it's easy to defend because you're always in front of me.
Right.
And so if you're expecting a 7-footer to be running baseline to baseline,
and players like Porzingis do need to get into rhythm.
Right. They need a rhythm. So you need to throw it down to him, let him get a couple of touches. And so I think Luka has to become a better player, or he's going to become James Harden. We saw the same thing with James Harden with the Rockets, right?
He would wait 22 seconds
and then pass.
Then either do that or do a step back 3 and then get fouled. And
that's my point.
Yeah.
So it forces your team to just stand around. Teams don't like to stand around. To me, the teams that are always in motion,
San Antonio and Golden
create
State.
Great shots. Atlanta's doing it now.
Brooklyn's doing that now.
Brooklyn is doing that now. So there's not a lot of standing around. So I think while we looking for a fall guy, and Porzingis will be the fall guy because he's 7'3".
And he played terrible in that season.
No, he played terrible in the regular season, though. He averaged 20 points. Why? Because they moved the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
So Luka got to get better.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sound. He needs to come down on his points.
And there was too many times where he was there was too many times where I needed him to be aggressive.
And he wasn't.
Yeah.
So hopefully they will get better with that. Tonight, the Jazz and Clippers get game 1, and Donovan
Mitchell? Mike Conley.
Mike Conley is out. And so I think that's going to hurt them in game 1.
Yeah, I
do think the Clippers are still mentally drained.
Okay, see, here's the thing. The Clippers, to me, they either got over their biggest hurdle that they need to get over with Dallas, or their weaknesses are going to be exposed again, but this time they're not going to make it out alive.
Yeah, I think Tyronn Lue. Listen, Tyronn Lue he's a better coach than we give credit for. He looked LeBron James in the face and said, "I'm going to Kyrie on this play."
Right.
And that takes a lot, and it worked. He told his team after they lost game 5, "No problem, we're winning in 7." And they did. Talking about this series here. And he made the adjustments. He doesn't panic. I think eventually they will figure out. I picked Utah to win in 7 in this series, but I would not be surprised if the Clippers won this in 6.
Right.
Because of the defenders that they have. Yeah.
I can agree with that. I'm probably gonna pick the same. I'm probably gonna take Utah again in 7, but if the Clippers handle it.
If the Clippers handle it, they're going all the way to the finals.
They're going to the finals because I don't see.
And then we'll see Brooklyn and the Clippers, and that's a matchup I wouldn't mind seeing.
I wouldn't mind either because it's still L.A. New York battle.
Yes, not the one we expected.
Not the one we expect.
And also, go ahead.
Yeah.
So now let's get into some of the off-season plans of the Lakers.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
So, what do you think the Lakers have to do this offseason?
Well,
outside of getting Dame Lillard.
They need to move. They need to bring in another superstar to move AD to the third option.
Okay.
I cannot rely, because as LeBron going into 37, right?
Or even LeBron could be the third option.
Who's going to be a number one option?
Okay, that's what you need to figure out. They need another superstar.
I can't put AD at number one.
No, they need another superstar. Yeah.
Definitely need another superstar. I'm trying to think, though, who's going to be available. Now, how much do y'all get in the cap?
I would like Bradley Beal, man. I think he
out of the two dynamic duos in Washington, who would you take?
Bradley Beal over Westbrook.
Because he's all offensive, yeah.
And because he doesn't need the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Westbrook would need the ball, which would take the ball out of LeBron's hand.
I think I can package. Schroeder's going to be a free agent, but
we still can do a sign and trade with him. Wherever he wants to go, we can get some value for him. I think they're going to have to get rid of Montrezl Harrell, who just didn't work out.
Didn't pan out.
The center, Marcus Gasol has to go.
Didn't pan out.
They got to revamp their squad. They have to. Pelinka, we gave him credit last year for winning the bubble.
Right.
Because of what Kawhi did to him.
We got lucky with that too because of y'all worked on y'all weaknesses in the offseason. I mean, when we went on a 3-month break, trying to bring the season back.
Right.
So y'all worked on y'all little nicks and crannies because I don't think if say there was no COVID protocol,
we were still the number 2 seed at the time.
Still number 2, yeah.
So.
True.
With that being said, I don't know what would happen. So I think the break benefited the older players like LeBron and them.
Yeah.
And they still had to go win it. So people want to say, well, he won in the bubble. But if LeBron had lost in the bubble, they would have ragged him. So he did get the win. He promised the Lakers he would win a title.
Right.
He did. Now, on the shortened season, I told you these athletes are creatures of habit. This shortened season brought a lot of injuries. Somebody like Anthony Davis, I knew was going to get injured because he gets injured on a regular season. So imagine a shortened season. I knew. So long story short, the Lakers are going to have to make a blockbuster move to bring in somebody like Bradley Beal, Dame Lillard, or Stephen Curry.
How much? Okay, now the step thing.
That ain't happening.
Nah, but that's easier to work around because I believe I still have one more max spot.
I think so.
Open, right?
I hope so.
And Steph, if you want, it's his name. As much as I love you being in Golden State and teaming up with Clay, I don't know what Golden State team to expect.
Yeah. True story.
I don't know how well. I'm not worried about Clay's shooting. At first I was, but then when you was like, your shoot.
Look at Steph. I mean, look at KD.
Right. Your shot doesn't change.
Yeah. It's gonna be his defense.
Be fine. So defensively, that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah.
If I was Steph, I would go to the Lakers.
Got you.
Team up with LeBron. You liked how you played with him in the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's a quick sample.
That was a little right. That's bona fide shooting that you don't have that you need.
Oh yeah.
And that moves LeBron. AD to the third option.
Yes, where he can be more effective. What about the Knicks?
Knicks gotta just go get Kawhi or Paul George because they both come out of this year.
If you can get one of those two, you have just a bona fide, and you got to be built for New York because Brooklyn ain't going nowhere.
Right. Also, use the rest of the cap to either get LaMelo or Kelly Oubre. Because I forgot Kelly Oubre is up.
Yes.
And I don't think we're gonna re-sign him. I mean, we could, but he's not gonna want to come off the bench. I think Kelly Oubre with another big-time superstar like a Kawhi or Paul George in New York City, that could work. Along with Randall and them.
Oh, that definitely could work.
And Boston, I don't know why you gave Brad Stevens a promotion.
We already talked about that, but we'll see what kind of coach they bring into Boston to get the job done.
Who do you think is going to get the Portland coaching spot?
I'm hearing the coach from Portland, Stotts, is going to take the Magic job.
Okay, I like that.
You know, so he'll get a chance to restart. Jason Kidd said he's out of the bidding. He only won because Damian Lillard wanted Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd said, I don't want to be put in that situation where they give me the job simply because you want me to have the job. And I think Jason Kidd is saying quietly, Dame Lillard, come here with me and they'll fire
Frank Vogel
and hire me, and I could be your coach in LA. That's a conspiracy theory.
Dame Lillard? Just real quick,
we would have to trade for him.
Who y'all gonna trade?
Everything except Anthony Davis and LeBron.
He said
everybody on this side of the room. Yeah, LeBron and Anthony, step over here. You guys get your paperwork. Your last checks are in your locker. Leave the uniforms, and thank you for your services here. Dame limit, welcome. And then we'll just put some
everybody else is on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, it don't matter. All that's got to go. All that. But he's been. Hey, I don't care. He got
Kuzma. You gotta get out of here.
Oh yeah, they're gonna use him.
You had to get out of here. I'm sorry.
But I think it'll help Kuzma. Going to a young team, let's say you went to Washington.
Right.
You go to a team where they're rebuilding and you can get some shots up and get a sense of continuity.
Okay, real quick. What about Chauncey Billups? I know we kind of jumped over it.
Oh, well, Chauncey Billups is going to be in the bidding for head coach. I can see him taking the Portland job. I can see him taking the Boston job.
Right.
He's a hard-nosed kind of guy.
I like his IQ.
He's a leader.
Respected his point guard.
So I definitely would take that.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
Hold on. Before we jump into the next segment, I'm sorry. I'm hearing that they're thinking about moving Kemba and CJ. Not for each other.
CJ
McCollum.
Oh, not for each other, but yeah, those are going to be pieces that are going to get moved.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to move them and buy them.
All right. Well.
But Eli, finally, Julio Jones has gone to the Texans. I know you thought Titans. I know you thought there was a chance.
Yeah, let's clap that up.
Yeah, let's clap that up for your Patriots to make that happen.
But I looked at what they gave up for him.
They gave up a lot?
And it was a second round. It was a 2022 second round and a 2023 fourth round. And then I looked at what we would have given up, which was a 22 second round and a fourth round of the same year. And I was like, okay, so clearly I just didn't want to send him to New England.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's clearly what it was.
Because if you're going to give him up for that, we had a way better package than that.
Well, so it looks like the same package.
No, but I'm saying in terms of the
positioning. They definitely didn't want to do
draft positioning.
Yeah.
We had a better draft package to give up. So clearly, I just didn't want to send him to New England.
And that's understood.
And whatever.
And Aaron Rodgers, go ahead.
And we ended up signing I think Matthew Stafford's first string or second string
wide receiver. So that's going to help.
Did great last year.
That's going to help.
So
Aaron Rodgers does not report to OTAs. We're not surprised.
First of all, superstars don't report to it anyway, though.
No, well, Brady showed up. Brady is in camp. So a lot of these guys, this is mandatory for you to show up to get the team unity going. So he's calling their bluff. And I didn't think he would. Rodgers. So somebody's going to be on the market for him. I wish the Cowboys would trade Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And give me Aaron Rodgers.
That'd be interesting.
And watch the Cowboys go.
That'd be real interesting. Because they have enough decent pieces on offense.
Yes. Got a running game. You're playing in a dome.
Right.
In front of America's, fans.
Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
How many wins does Titans get with this offense?
With the run game, and you have to put 8 in the box.
It's still gonna be run offense or oriented because they have the best running back.
It's gonna all boil down to how good their defense is this year.
Right.
Their defense is good. They can make it to the AFC Championship game,
which they did 2 years ago.
Right. Because the run, you have to put 8 in the box.
And then that's what's going to leave one-on-one coverage.
One-on-one coverage.
And it also depends on how healthy. Are they going to get the Julio from last year who only played 6 games? Or the one from
I'm assuming,
prior?
Because he doesn't have a history of being injured.
Right.
I'm assuming he's going to come back and play.
They have the best dynamic wide receiver duo in the league now.
And the quarterback is Tannehill?
And that's the one problem.
Oh, maybe and Aaron Rodgers need to go there.
That is the one problem. If that happens,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Because Julio was saying he wanted a quarterback who can throw it down the field.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Cam can do that.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert can do that because I've seen him his arm. But Tannehill, but then maybe with the play action because you got 8 in the box.
That's my point.
You don't if it's gonna be 8 in the box and I don't know.
It's one-on-one coverage when you come out the gate.
Right.
Yeah.
On both sides of the field now.
Yeah.
Maybe Tannehill can do that.
I'm assuming.
I'm gonna give them 11 because they get an extra game now.
I
would say 10-6, but now I'm gonna say 11 and 11
I'm gonna say 12-5, maybe 13-4.
Okay.
You know,
that extra game is so dumb to me.
Yeah, it is. They should make it 2 extra games if anything, and even that's a little
yeah, a little bit of a push.
Crazy. 50-41 not even halftime. 76ers are up. So
they win the division.
Yes, because who they got? The Colts?
Jacksonville, Colts, and the Texans.
Yeah, they'll win that division. Yeah,
they'll win that division, and really interesting to see what's gonna happen with this.
Yeah.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
Eli, for the first time in 10 years, the Yankees let Boston Red Sox come into Yankee Stadium and sweep them.
It was 10 years?
It's been 10 years. We don't allow Boston to come through and do any of that. And Boston is in a rebuilding year.
Right.
The Yankees have some issues. I don't know what the Mets are doing right now. You know, we're basing this on New York guys.
It's weird because we'll win like 6 straight.
And then we'll lose 5 straight.
And then we'll lose like 4 to 5 straight.
I don't like Aaron Boone. I hate to say it. I think Joe Girardi was a much better
head coach. Yeah.
General manager. To me, Aaron Boone doesn't have the pulse of New York and what the team needs.
And it's weird because that much talent, and we've gone already a decade without going to the World Series.
Yes.
Like, without even just going to the World Series.
And that's part of it could be due to cheating.
Oh, with the Astros?
With the Astros, could be a little bit of cheating in there.
True.
But still, it hasn't happened. Yeah?
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
So, Eli, Little Durk and Lil Baby album came out. Did you listen?
I did listen to it.
What do you think?
I like the fact that it's an hour.
Oh, very short.
Very short.
Boom, to the point.
But it's 18 songs, but they squeezed that into an hour.
Oh, nice.
They complement each other very well, which I didn't think they were going to be capable to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but other than that, kind of just all sounds the same after a while.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10.
On a 1 to 10, I'll give it 7.5.
All right.
I like the way, I still like the production. That's tight. I like the way that they complement each other and the fact that it's under an hour.
Okay, so those are all
it's
good
not that
things.
Long.
I will give the album a listen perhaps over the weekend.
Right.
If I have an hour of my time. And I hate giving something an hour if I can't get it back.
Right.
So I hope that hour for me will be worth it.
Right. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a celebrity boxing match this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Ocho Cinco got knocked out.
No.
Oh, he got knocked down.
He got knocked down.
But I heard he fared pretty well overall.
He did. Put it like this. He boxed way better than Nate Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So if you're going to, like, celebrity in terms of celebrity boxing, always base it off of the Nate Robinson performance. He did better than Nate Robinson.
Got you. He ate a left hook.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. And then we had the Drake Paul.
And now that I'm watching Mayweather knocked him out.
Yes.
But held him up.
Purposely
because he wanted the fight to go longer.
Yeah.
And you could clearly see this guy's knocked out.
Yeah. Logan Paul definitely got knocked out.
But what do you think about this? Mayweather made $100 million. It was a waste of time.
Well, like we used to say early in his career, he clearly would low-key waste his money.
Yeah, but at least he was fighting formidable opponents.
Yeah.
This celebrity thing, you make $100 million fighting a nobody. What's the world coming to, Eli?
I don't know, but I do know whenever he gets in the jam, he'll go back to boxing.
Right.
Then he always says, I'm not coming back. You're coming back if you need money.
Yeah, that's what.
And clearly you keep splurging a little too much for your liking.
Yes.
Or for your team's liking, to the point where it's like, now, unfortunately, well, because it was a nobody, but you still got $100 million. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. He looked at his shape, and this was the first time where boxing critics were saying Floyd should never fought.
Yeah. And hopefully that's the last we see of that.
Yeah.
Meghan and Harry announced the birth of the baby girl, Lilibet Diana. So now they got the boy and the girl, and the baby is named after his mother and her mother.
Right.
The Queen and Princess Diana. I think that's a nice combination of names to bring the baby in on. And so congratulations to them.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
So Eli, we have a disabled story of the week. It's a Be Kind. Was on the news.
Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. A group gets a big lesson in kindness from Staten Island restaurant. 2 weeks ago, members of the group of On Your Mark had dinner at Nucci's on Arthur Kill Road. The group goes on trips, movies, restaurants, and other places of entertainment and teaches people with developmental disabilities to be social and one another and, the community, so they can interact
with each other. And part of the lesson was to pay for the bill. And when they asked for the check, the restaurant owner said it's on the house.
He said it was on the house. And they really appreciated that because it means people are watching.
Right.
And these acts of kindness are important.
That, and they didn't have to do that because of COVID.
Right.
Restaurants
they're struggling.
They need the money. And for the restaurant owner to show that type of kindness to them was generous and well appreciated.
And we would like here, Disabled is Able, to recognize this restaurant. On Your Mark was the organization, and the restaurant is called Nucci's, Arthur Kill Road in Staten Island. We recognize you for what you're doing.
Yeah, and very much appreciate it.
Much appreciated, because we had Disabled is Able. We love those kind of stories.
Absolutely.
So, Eli, where can we be reached?
We can be reached on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Disabled Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Viewership got to go up, guys.
Got to get the viewership
comment
up.
Like, hit the bell notification for notifications when we upload new episodes. We'll be back full squad next week. So, see you guys next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, please throw your hands in the air for the greatest podcast on earth when it comes to music, sports, and culture. Disabled is Able with your host, Eli and Fredy. So put your hands